Okay, my project is about weather information. That means um, to fetch the information of the weather at different locations. Okay, from the picture you can understand the main motto of my project. Okay, and this is my profile, and I have used the Node.js and Express.js and Firebase database to fetch the weather information at a particular location. And coming to the problem statement, when the user log in and after successful signing in, my capstone project give the information of weather like temperature, humidity, climatic conditions, local time, wind speed of that particular location by using the weather API. Okay, my capstone is about um, capstone project is about to fetch the weather information at different locations, right? First, have used the server.js for fetching the weather information. Here, we have used first um, we have used Express.js, Node.js, and Firebase database to fetch the weather information. Okay, in Java.js, we start the importing necessary libraries and setting up our Express.js application on our port 7070. We initialize the Firebase admin using a service account key, which allows us to interact with the Firebase services. We initialize the Firebase uh, to store access. Initialize the Firebase file store to access the Firebase database, which you will use for storing user data. Okay, we configure Express.js to use the EJS template engine for uh, reading web pages. We defined various routes for our application, like sign in and sign up and sign up submit and web. Like this, we defined various routes for our applications, right? For handling sign in and sign up, for handling sign in and sign up rules, uh, we use asynchronous operations to interact with the file store and handle the potential errors. The server starts listening on port 7070 and a message is logged to console when it's ready to accept the connections. Okay, next uh, we have created the sign in route and the sign up route. After once, uh, first of all, when the user open this web page, um, they will see the web page like login. Welcome to my weather. Like the user will see the web page. The first step the user have to do is he has to log in the uh, he has to log in, right? With the correct user email and password. Once the user entered the wrong usernames, they will see on the dashboard like the login is we have mentioned here, like the login is failed, incorrect login credentials. Okay, they will see the this state, this sentence, login failed and incorrect login credentials, like this is about server.js and package.json. Package.json is nothing but it appears the dependencies block which typically goes into a dependencies block which typically goes into a .json package. Okay, there are the dependencies required for our Node.js application, like dependencies like EJS, Express, Firebase admin request. Okay, um, Well, coming to the package log dot JSON, these are all required for fetching the weather information uh, for the user. For suppose when the user want the information about the particular location, when he entered that location on the web page, he will get the information about the particular location um, by using this package log dot JSON file. And key.json. Key.json is nothing but mm, wait a minute. Mm, okay, the user will get the information about the uh, particular location. Like next, key.json file is indicates us the code we have posted in is a JSON object that represents the configuration information for a account key used in a Firebase. This service account key is typically used for server-to-server communication with Firebase services. Let's see how it will be. Okay. Mm, type service account. This specifies the type of credential. In this case, it's a service account which is used for the server applications to interact with the Firebase services. Next, the project ID. Capstone Project E194A specifies this is the unique project identifier associated with your Firebase project. Okay, private key ID. Okay, private KID is nothing but this is a unique identifier for the private key associated with the service account. It helps identify the specific key used for authentication. Okay, next, private key. Private key. This is the private key you associated with the service account. That means it's a long um, cryptographic key used for the secure communication. This key is mainly used for secure communications. Okay, did you get my point? Secure communication, and it helps us to specify the key used for as well kept secret and securely stored, and it is also be confidential. Right? Next, email. Client email is nothing but this is the email address associated with the service account. It is used to identify the service account when accessing the Firebase services. Okay, this mainly used for service account when accessing the Firebase services. Next, client ID. Client ID is nothing but this is a unique identifier for the client for service account. Okay, next, uh, URI. URI is this specifies the URI for the authentication endpoint uh, used for host 2.0 authentication. Next, token URI. Token URI specifies the URL for the token endpoint which is used to obtain access tokens for authentication. Next, provider 509 set URL. This specifies the URL provides the uh, public keys. Um, how we can say that public key used for verifying the tokens issued by the authentication provider. Okay, next, the client. Uh, Next, client URL. The client URL specifies the public key certificate for the service account. Okay, uh, this is the code we have to do for fetching the weather information. Wait a minute. Uh, Here we can say that. we'll get the output like this. The user has to log in with the correct email and password. After login process, we have to sign in with the same email and password, and it can be seen in Firebase database. Once after the sign in process, uh, it will